Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Talking with Pastor. I'm excited this afternoon to have my brother here on this show. He has been a dominant force in the ministry as well as in music, and he's just been using his gift to bless a lot of people in his community as well around the world. It's just an honor to have him on this show today, and I'd like to introduce to some and present to others Reverend Riley Sproul. Thank you for being a guest on my show, man. Truly find it a blessing. I know we always talk like this, you always gonna be the bishop. You always call me the apostle. But I'm so excited to have you on my show this afternoon. It's been an honor and a pleasure.
Oh man, anytime. Listen, thank you for having me on here. To God be the glory. I'm just happy. I'm just happy. I mean, you make me feel like a superstar, man, just being on here. I'm like, wait a minute, we on the Reverend Thaddeus, but like, come on, we on this show, like, say word. But I'm just glad to be here, just to talk. Listen, and just to see each other, man, one more time, so.
Okay, well, listen,
Yeah.
let's get started, man. The people want to know a little bit about you, man. What do you do for a living? Where were you? Where'd you grow up? And how has your rearing impacted you in your move in ministry?
First of all, I just want to just let everybody know, I attend Saints of Jesus Christ Ministries, where my pastor is Pastor Wanda Page on 166th Street, Washington Avenue, where I'm an assistant pastor there. And awesome people, awesome pastor, awesome ministry. I'm also a music producer, a musician, play keyboard and organ. Have my own, music production studio. Have my own group, Rowley Spoon and Holy Sound. And that's really me. Also, I love to joke around. I love to clown around. You have people where they really deep in church. But one thing I learned, that laughter is good for the soul. I've been in ministry. I was born and raised in the church. My former church that I come from out of is Salvation and Deliverance, where I was born and raised and grew up, and where a whole lot of people know when I started playing, I was sitting on the yellow pages trying to touch the organ. And ever since then, God has blessed me. And I was also under the leadership of Apostle Jerome King. And then, ever since then, under the leadership now, Pastor Wanda Page. Other than that, that's what I can say about ministry. I love ministry. I love music, and I love God's people.
Well, that's definitely a blessing, man, that you've been able to use your gift in so many capacities in ministry, not just mainly focus on your preaching and, ministering, but you've been able to impact a lot of people with your gift. And being said that, what do you see happening, and what is your vision for the church of God, and where do you see it going forth, especially now we're in pandemic? It's been a lot of stuff been going on that that has not really crippled or hindered the church, but it has really showed you that the people are the church rather than the building being the church. So where do you see the church going forward after this pandemic has passed us by?
Well, first of all, in the pandemic, I want to talk about in the pandemic and after the pandemic, if it's okay. This pandemic, I believe it happened, everything happens for a reason. I said this not a couple of weeks ago with one of my posts on Facebook, is that this pandemic showed us a lot about ministry, but also expanding our gifts. I believe that in the church, yes, we can operate in the church, but what happens when God says your gift is more than the church? And I believe a lot of people's lost the focus of the gift being more than the church. If we're going to reach the masses, if God promises that we're going to reach the masses, right, we got to realize this is the best time. This is the best time to reach the masses, but it's also the best time for marketing. And it is the best time for people to see your gift, because the Bible talks about your gift makes room for you and it will bring you before great men. It never said, to my knowledge, save great men. It said great men. Also, the scripture says the wealth of the wicked is laid up for the just. So how do we get all of this in a pandemic where God has put everybody on the same level.
Mm-hmm.
So if we recognize our gift now and how to operate it more than the church, if we operate it now, the people that are not in church when the pandemic is over, they will come to the church because they will see our gifting and they will see that it's more than a shop and a dance, but it's about the love of Christ. But how can you operate in your gift? And if we do that after the pandemic, we will have some wealthy people in our church.
Mm.
We will be some blessed people because now everybody's on the same level, you know? So it ain't no big eyes, no little U's. It's what do you do with your gift?
Mm.
So how do we operate now to make it, once it's over? So
That's,
that's how I see it.
that's very deep in regards to that, because now now being that you're a Zoom church, you can
Yeah.
actually, you know, people from around the world can actually see what your church, or what the mission of the church has, because now they actually can have a chance to interact with the people. And especially like as a pastor, you have that broadened horizon. Now you can reach someone who lives in, Africa. You have people that you can reach in Australia, or all around the world, because of the fact of this platform now, and that now we can showcase our church not just within our own community, but within the world. And where do you see the church going forward in regards to helping out the community in which it is in? Your church is in, I believe, Harlem. So where do you see that? Where do you see the impact of your church will be on the community?
Well, and that's a good question because a lot of me and my friends were talking about this. Is that the Bible says that he that winneth souls is wise. I believe that with my church and with other churches, helping the community is the most vital thing and very important. So I know that we're getting together where we serve dinners to the people, serve food, have packages set up and everything. From Bronx to Harlem, even to Brooklyn, having certain things set up because during this pandemic, a lot of people lost their jobs.
Mm.
A lot of people don't have money; they have a certain income. Even when you get the stimulus check, okay, it's there, but what do I do after the stimulus check? So the thing is that we came up with a plan where how do we target the people's needs? How do we target it? Because the thing is that if you target their need, then after that, they say, you know what? They didn't look for me to come to the church, but since we target their need, they see the help. So once you extend the help, it's like, wow, okay, these are very nice people. These are people that's really concerned about the people. And the thing is that if you reach out to your community, your ministry will be stronger. A church is only stronger by their community.
Mm.
Even when you look in the Bible, the community knew the people. The community knew Paul. The community knew Silas. The community knew Jesus. The community knew their disciples, but they also fed their need.
Mm.
So that's the thing that what Saints of Jesus Christ is doing now. And we got more people that is even joining our prayer call, our call line, because of how we reach their need.
Well, that's definitely something very impactful in regards to that, because you're right. The community has a need, and if the church is the pillar in the
Mm-hmm.
community, which can service that need in different aspects of people's lives, whether it's, feeding, or employment, or just having that, building that relationship with Christ and having that relationship with God, so that they understand that they have been brought by a mighty long way, because of God's grace that has thus brought them. Allowing them to have that relationship with God is something that will uh, transcend them into where they need to be, or who they're called to be, in regards
Right.
to that. But also, let's focus on the aspect of what you do. You do music, and that's something
Right.
I know you love. You love
Yeah.
music. And where do you see yourself in the uh, music industry as a whole, in the regards to gospel music? I know it has changed dramatically, but
Uh-huh.
there's some things that are missing. I love praise and worship, and I love the praise and
Uh,
music, but there's definitely something that is missing, in
right.
regards to, like, choral music, and
Right.
some of that stuff is missing. So, what do you think with your talents? Where do you feel that music will go? Where are you going to take gospel into this new uh, millennium?
Okay, so with gospel, I number one, I want to be original because there's a whole lot of people where I mean, you glean from everybody. You know, us growing up in the church, you know, you could glean from everybody, but I'm learning that a lot of people are not original. You know, and that's the thing that I believe that's missing in this era, where everybody want to be a copycat but don't want to be original.
Mm,
My thing is to be original. Also, I would say this is that I believe that there is it's like people are doing music, but they're not doing it under the unction of the Holy Ghost, if I would say.
mm,
They're not doing it under the Spirit of God. Um, and it just seems like, to be told, a lot of things is a show.
mm,
You know, we have more of a show than the anointing of God being displayed. You know, there's certain songs that we used to listen to. We grew up, we just start crying, you know, because there was so much power in the songs. But it's like I just believe that what I want to do in the gospel community is make sure, you know, my music is pure, things is clean, but also this is another thing, show the people in church about the business of music, because we have a whole lot of artists that are in church, but they don't know the business of music.
mm.
Certain people don't know about royalties. They don't know about when you get paid. And as you know, we hear a whole lot of stories that happen, you know? So my thing is that I just want to bring stability, even with my production and my group, that we venture out even the more, you know, like, you know, with our music, but just main thing, just stay pure to God, you know, and reach the people, you know, in all types of ways, you know, and choir music, I love choir music. You know, we all grew up with choir music.
Mhm.
So my thing is that, like, you know, they got this thing now where, you know, they talk about bringing the choirs back, you know, which is cool. I'm just saying that as long as you do it in the right spirit, you know, do it in the right spirit. So my thing is that I just want to just do things in the right spirit, you know, and that God, people be happy and God be pleased.
That's definitely a blessing, man, because music has evolved. It's a
Yeah,
funny thing that you know we look at gospel music and how it is before, but we also remember that uh, gospel music is like the plant, and then other things sprouted out.
right,
Like there would be no gospel if there would be no R&B without gospel, because
right.
of the fact that musicians and artists like Ray Charles, who actually took gospel music and made it a hit.
Right.
He took blues and gospel and said, you know what, I could make my own sound and make something that's genuinely me. And we
Hmm.
have to remember that where our music comes from, it streams from where it began and where it's going right now. And I
Right.
just found that it's ironic that the music that we have now is as you said, not as original. It's lost its authenticity, because
Hmm.
as you said, there's some songs are great and very inspirational, but there's no Holy Ghost. There's no Holy
Right.
Spirit behind it. That's not, actually moving you to be like, I need to have that relationship with Christ, because the gospel music is the life, death, and resurrection
Resurrection. Right.
of of Jesus Christ. And sometimes we seem to stem away from that. We just want to encourage or get excited. And
Right.
that's something that needs to be more instilled. And I appreciate that you said that your music is going in that direction of actually incorporating what gospel music was meant to be, even
Right.
in this new millennium. And also, as it has always been a factor of it, how do you feel that how has the church been impactful during this Black Lives Matter? It's still going on. It hasn't stopped. It hasn't been paused. It's actually just been ignited to the point
Right.
where that we are seeing more in our world coming from Black men and Black women around this country. And how do you feel that the church? How do you feel about the church's involvement in the Black Lives Matter?
Well, I believe that the churches are doing a great job. I'm just saying, stick to it. You know what I'm saying? Because the thing that I learned is that if we're going to make a movement, if we're going to move, let us stick together.
Hmm.
And I'm seeing that churches are sticking together. We need to stick together, and we cannot hate on each other.
Mm.
I believe that all that's happened, with the Black Lives Matter and even with the pandemic, it shows the church to tackle the issues that have been bothering us years, especially, with the Black Lives Matter, because nobody didn't want to really talk about Black rights in a way. Nobody didn't want to tackle certain things when certain things happen. Yes, we come to church, but there's some things in our mind where we say, wait a minute, why we're not speaking about this issue?
Mm.
And because somebody's gonna ask, okay, what happened with George Floyd? What happened with the other people? What happened with the other people that got murdered as blacks? And when you look at it, us as blacks, we need to stand up for each other.
Hmm.
We have to. Of every other religion and every other culture stands up for each other.
Mm.
So now we have to stand up, and we got to prove our point, because the thing is that us as blacks, we're creative people. We are creative people. And the thing is that when you look at the things that's happened to us,
Hmm.
it's like, wait a minute, from slavery till now, you have questions.
Hmm.
So my thing is that, how do we stop this? My thing is that, I have nieces and nephews. I think about them all the time, what's going to happen to them, and it shouldn't be that way. If they go outside, I got to think about this. I got to think about that. I got to think about the cops stopping them. And every cop is not a bad cop, but there are some cops where they do stuff underhanded. So my thing is that as a church, we need to tackle this. As a church, you need to tackle it. And also, it goes back to dealing with your community. How do you feed your community? And how do you fight for
Well, I definitely agree with you on that aspect that we as a people need to come together, not just in
them?
protests and whatnot, but educating ourselves in the aspects of uh, wealth, finance, money,
Right,
so that we have more than just a voice. Now we have something to back us up, if that makes
right,
sense.
right.
So
I agree.
so
I,
as,
and, and,
yeah,
and
go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. Let me just say this: even with wealth and even with wealth and health, look at it. Every other culture, once it comes to their wealth and their health, they got things set.
Mm-hmm.
Once it comes to their money and all that, they got things set. If we look at the Jewish community, they got their own hospitals, they got their own schools and everything. So I'm saying, us as blacks, how do we educate, on the marketplace? How do we educate with our wealth, our health, where to put our money at, how to grow our money? Because the thing is that if you look at the black community, we get money, but it goes out so fast.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the white community, um, they know how to save, the Caucasian community, they know how to save their money. Jews, they know how to save their money. They buying up gas stations and everything. What
Mm-hmm.
are we going to buy? you know? So that's my thing. If you look on every corner, there's what? A grocery store. Okay, us as black people, why can't we own something? Why can't we own a whole block? So I strongly believe in educating, us as blacks, what we should do. So
Well, listen, I appreciate you so much for your take on this and allowing people to know more about uh, pastors and preachers per se. And most people have this misconception about the title of pastor. They
right,
they don't think you're reachable. They don't
right.
think. Let's be honest. They don't
Yeah,
think
right.
people to talk to you and realize that you're no different than who they are. So, what is
Right.
your perception in regards to that? Having that title of having the title of being pastor, and knowing that you're not meant for the people to serve you, but you're meant to serve the people. So, what's your take on the aspect of having that title of being a pastor or preacher?
Okay, yeah. So this is a very good question. I'm glad that you asked this question. Being a pastor is mostly serving. I look at it, if you go to a restaurant, right? You have the person who's the CEO, but they got to be in contact with the people that's helping, with getting the food, whatever the CEO wants or the owner, he want to make sure that the people have things right. But it's all about serving. If you serve people right, they'll come back to you.
Mm,
If you serve people right, they won't look at you. Even at a restaurant, the owner will come out and talk to the people.
mm,
So me, I'm the type of person where, I love talking to people. Just to know what's what. You have to be a people person in ministry.
mhm,
You have to be a people person being a pastor. You have to be a people person being an assistant pastor or just even being a minister. Because people got it twisted where you got to act like you all high and mighty and you on the mountain. You know what I'm saying?
mhm,
And the sun is about to shine on you. So people have taken the title of pastoralship to a certain different level where it's like, bro, what's going on?
mhm,
So me, growing up, I met people and, they got a position and then the next thing you know, they just different, and that's not serving. You know what I'm saying? That's not being a pastor. As a pastor, you got to serve the people. You got to make sure that they're okay. You know what I'm saying? It's more that you put in as a pastor than you get back.
mhm.
And I believe a lot of people lost that. And even with this younger generation, with pastoralship, I just pray that they learn how to serve other than being served.
Mm,
Because the thing is that when you're being served, there's a hidden agenda behind it.
yeah.
But when you're being served, you think that you're entitled to something
Mm,
that you haven't worked for yet.
mm,
And the thing is that the problem today is that we got a lot of people that want to be served, but they haven't put in no work. When I was growing up and in ministry, you had to clean the bathroom, you had to throw out the garbage, you had to do all this stuff, just as a normal human being. But now you got people where they want all the fancy cars, they want the big house, but they never serve.
mm.
So I tell people today, in the pastoral role, this is another thing. You got to know the mind of the people because every individual is different. You can't treat everybody. You got to learn how to treat people on their level, if I would say,
Mhm,
because everybody level of spiritual comprehension is different. You know, everybody level, even with their mindset, is different.
mm,
So, as a pastor, you need to know the weaknesses, the strengths and the weaknesses of people, and help build them up. And when you help build them up, it's like wow, it's like helping a son or a daughter or whoever because you help build them up, other than you looking for what's in their pockets.
mhm,
And I think now with this pandemic is that we have learned the lesson. Um, there's people that will ask for so much money, even during the pandemic. you
mm.
know, and I'm seeing all these sold 10,000, not sold 5,000, and I'm like, wait a minute, it's a pandemic, and you're supposed to be a leader. Why not come to where the people are? Because that's what we need to do. We got people where they pay for our orphans and they pay for us and they look out for us. Why not we see what they need, as a leader? So I believe as a leader, it's more of serving, checking up on people, and seeing where they are so you can pick them up.
Well, that's very impactful from you, especially from your perspective as being assistant pastor, and you are a servant to your people and to God's people as well. So as we close, I just wanted to know, are there where your church is located? Are there anything going on in your church that people would like to know about? Would like to either jump on a conference call, something like that, so they can be encouraged. And then you can leave us with some encouraging words as we close.
Yes, my church is located on 166th Street and Washington Avenue. We are about to we've been having our prayer line and our call line. That is at 7 p.m. every day. And you can find all the information is right on my Facebook page and on our ministry page, Saints of Jesus Christ Ministries. It'll be listed right on there. And also, even on my page, Riley Spruill. You can look on my page and even my Instagram page, Zay Goody Official. You can look on there. Um, The other thing is that I would say this, that I would leave these words with you, and everybody that's watching, that get ready for expansion. Get ready for expansion. I believe that this is the season where God is going to expand.
Mm,
God is going to expand. Um, God is going to expand. What has been held up for the past 7 years, God is going to expand, and there's going to be a breakthrough.
mm,
I'm telling you, there's going to be a breakthrough. And God dealt with me about this, is that um, we have been going through a long time. Believers have been going through a long time with their vision. I just believe that in this season, every demonic force that has been fighting you, that has been trying to fight your vision, and that has been fighting the people of God, God is going to put it to a stop. He's going to put it to a stop. And let me tell you, things is going to open up so fast for you, for your ministry, for your work, for your show. And even those that are watching, watch how God opens up everything so fast. I know that we're in a pandemic, but there's a promise that still needs to be fulfilled.
mm.
So that's how I see it. Just get ready for what God is about to do. Get ready for what God is about to do. And let me tell you, I'm just happy for everybody's future. I'm just happy for everybody's future, what's going to happen, um, how everybody's going to be blessed. So get ready. And also, let me just leave this. We're about to do a virtual service, services for our church. So get ready. It'll be listed, everything, on my Facebook page and my Instagram page. It's going to be dope. We're going to have awesome singers, awesome preaching, awesome everything. It's just going to be bananas. So just get ready.
Well, thank you, Reverend Spurl, for jumping on my show and being a guest this afternoon. And I pray that your family and everyone is safe, and that you continue to do the work of God that you have been called to do, and that He may continue to move in a mighty, mighty way. And in closing, this is Thaddeus Jet. We're talking with Pastor. Continue to let your light shine.
Keep it going now.